There is a force woven into the very soul of Haiti, something that cannot be separated from its people, its history, or its identity. It moves through the rhythm of drums, through the smoke of sacred fires, through the prayers whispered at crossroads at midnight. That force is Vodou, and to understand Haiti, you must first understand what Vodou truly represents. Not the Hollywood caricature of zombies and dark magic, not the sensationalized version that has been distorted by centuries of misrepresentation, but the real, living, breathing spiritual tradition that has sustained an entire people through unimaginable hardship. Vodou is not simply a religion. It is a worldview, a philosophy, a cultural identity, and a historical record, all woven into one. It is the thread that connects Haitian people to their African ancestors, to the land beneath their feet, and to the invisible forces that govern the universe. To dismiss it or reduce it to superstition is to misunderstand one of the most profound spiritual systems ever developed by human beings. Vodou arrived in Haiti through one of history's darkest chapters. When millions of Africans were torn from their homelands and forced into slavery in the Caribbean, they brought with them their languages, their stories, and their spiritual beliefs. These were people from the Fon, Iwe, Yoruba, Congo, and many other nations, each carrying their own sacred traditions. Stripped of everything else, they held on to their spirituality with fierce determination. In the colony then known as Saint-Domingue, these diverse African traditions began to merge, adapt, and transform, eventually giving birth to what we now call Haitian Vodou. It was born in suffering, but it became a source of extraordinary strength. At the heart of Vodou is a rich and complex understanding of the spiritual world. Vodouissants, as practitioners are called, believe in a supreme creator known as Bondi, a word derived from the French bon Dieu, meaning good God. Bondi is the ultimate source of all existence, but this supreme being is considered too vast and too distant to be approached directly by human beings. This is where the Loa come in. The Loa, sometimes spelled Loa, are the spirits that serve as intermediaries between humanity and the divine. They are not gods in the traditional Western sense, but rather powerful spiritual forces, each with their own domain, personality, preferences, and sacred symbols. There are hundreds of Loa recognized within the Vodou tradition, and they are organized into different families called nations or nanchan. Ogu is the spirit of iron, war, and justice, often depicted as a fierce warrior. Erzuli Freda is the spirit of love, beauty, and femininity, associated with luxury and longing. Baron Samedi rules over death and resurrection, known for his irreverent humor and his power to heal or claim lives. Maman Brigitte stands beside him as a spirit of death and cemeteries. Agwe commands the seas, while La Sirène, his companion, represents the mysteries of the ocean depths. Each Loa has specific colors, foods, days of the week, and ritual objects associated with them. When practitioners seek guidance, healing, or protection, they do not pray to Bondi directly. Instead, they call upon the Loa through elaborate ceremonies involving music, dance, prayer, and offerings. The Loa may then choose to manifest by possessing a practitioner, speaking through them, offering wisdom, healing, or warnings to the community gathered in their presence. Vodou ceremonies are extraordinary events that engage every human sense simultaneously. They are held in a peristyle, which is a sacred temple or ceremonial space, often a large open-air structure with a central post called the Poto Mitan. This central post is the axis of the spiritual world, the channel through which the Loa descend to interact with the living. The ceremonies begin with elaborate preparations. The ground is decorated with intricate symbolic drawings called veves, each one corresponding to a specific Loa. These drawings are created using cornmeal, ash, or other sacred materials, and they serve as spiritual invitations, calling the Loa into the ceremony. Drummers play sacred rhythms that have been passed down through generations, each rhythm corresponding to a specific Loa or nation. The music is not entertainment. It is a form of prayer, a vibrational language that opens the door between the physical and spiritual worlds. As the ceremony progresses, participants sing, dance, and enter states of deep spiritual engagement. When a Loa chooses to possess a practitioner, that person is said to be ridden by the spirit, a term that reflects the Vodou understanding of the body as a horse that the Loa mounts. During possession, the practitioner may speak in different voices, display unusual strength, or demonstrate knowledge they could not otherwise possess. The community gathers around, asking the Loa for guidance, healing, and blessings. Offerings of food, rum, tobacco, and other items preferred by the specific Loa are presented with reverence and gratitude. These ceremonies are not performances for outsiders. They are deeply sacred communal events that reinforce bonds between the living, the dead, and the spiritual world. Perhaps the most powerful testament to what Vodou represents in Haitian culture is its role in the Haitian Revolution, the only successful slave revolt in human history that led to the founding of an independent nation. On the night of August 14, 1791, a ceremony was held in a forest clearing known as Bois Cayman. Led by a Vodou priest named Duddy Boukman and a Mambo, a female Vodou priestess, this ceremony is widely regarded as the spiritual ignition of the revolution. The Loa were called upon, oaths were sworn, and a covenant was made between the enslaved people and the spirit world. Within days, the uprising had begun. What followed was 13 years of brutal warfare against one of the most powerful military forces in the world. The enslaved people of Saint-Domingue fought against French colonial forces, Spanish troops, and British armies. They were outgunned, outnumbered, and facing enemies who had every material advantage. Yet they won. On January 1, 1804, Haiti declared independence, becoming the first Black republic in the world and the first nation in the Western Hemisphere to permanently abolish slavery. Vodou was not merely a backdrop to this revolution. It was its spiritual engine. It gave the fighters a sense of divine purpose, a belief that the Loa were fighting alongside them, that their cause was sacred and just. The ceremonies held during the revolution were acts of collective spiritual mobilization, binding people together across different African nations and traditions in a shared covenant of freedom. This is why Vodou and Haitian national identity are inseparable. The religion did not just survive the revolution. In many ways, it made the revolution possible. Despite its profound cultural significance, Vodou has endured centuries of persecution and misrepresentation. Colonial authorities feared it precisely because of its power to unite enslaved people, and they worked aggressively to suppress it. After independence, the Catholic Church launched multiple campaigns against Vodou, destroying sacred objects, burning peristyles, and pressuring practitioners to renounce their beliefs. The Haitian government itself, under various administrations, criminalized Vodou practice at different points in history. Western media compounded the damage by portraying Vodou as sinister, primitive, and dangerous. The word voodoo became a synonym for dark magic in popular culture, completely divorced from its actual meaning and practice. This misrepresentation has caused real harm, fueling discrimination against Haitian people and deepening misunderstanding between cultures. Yet Vodou survived all of it. It survived because it was never just a set of rituals or beliefs that could be simply outlawed or erased. It was embedded in the language, the music, the art, the medicine, and the daily life of Haitian people. Practitioners adapted, sometimes disguising Loa as Catholic saints to avoid persecution, a practice known as syncretism that added yet another layer of richness to the tradition. In 2003, the Haitian government officially recognized Vodou as one of the country's national religions, a landmark acknowledgement of its central place in Haitian identity. Today, Vodou continues to pulse at the heart of Haitian life. It shapes the music of Haiti, from the sacred drumming of ceremonies to the popular Rara street festivals that fill the roads with processions of musicians and dancers during the weeks before Easter. It influences Haitian art, particularly the vibrant paintings and metalwork that depict the Loa in vivid symbolic imagery. It informs traditional medicine, as Vodou priests and priestesses known as hongans and mambos serve as healers in their communities, using herbal remedies, spiritual counseling, and ritual healing practices that have been refined over centuries. It provides a framework for understanding grief, illness, conflict, and joy. When disaster strikes, as it did with devastating force during the earthquake of January 12, 2010, Vodou communities became centers of mutual aid and spiritual support. The ceremonies held in the aftermath were not expressions of despair, but of resilience, of a people calling upon their deepest spiritual resources to survive and rebuild. Vodou represents something that is increasingly rare in the modern world, a living connection between the past and the present, between the human and the divine, between the individual and the community. It carries within it the memory of Africa, the trauma of slavery, the triumph of revolution, and the enduring creativity of a people who have refused, generation after generation, to be defined by their suffering alone. To understand Vodou is to understand Haiti, and to understand Haiti is to encounter one of the most remarkable stories of human resilience, spiritual depth, and cultural vitality that the world has ever known.